Shalom, call halal Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Rachakudash and Shani Kabad and Gadawala Rakwab is a Kwanyam Nawa by Shalayakim Nawa. That's double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Wa Shalawam, Wa Barakim, Labakarim Shayasharala. And that is peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. And as always, to the confusion of faces, meaning those who look like the other nations, but whose spirits resonate with the truth and that believe in that faith in Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, and Yahushai, the only begotten Son. So to all you brothers out there, no matter how you look, pushing this word in truth and in sincerity, I want to say peace and blessings to you all. So this article is from reportingthetruth.com. And Big Brother sent this in the group chat. And I thought it was very, very, very much edifying. And I wanted to bring it out to all the Akim out there that watch this video. So it says the title of the article is ICE agent commits suicide in New York City, leaves a suicide note revealing government's plan to round up and disarm Americans. Okay, so you can believe and think that this is fake all you want. However, the reason why we're bringing this out, or the reason why I'm bringing this out to the spirit, that is because it outlines exactly what the scriptures talk about. And starting with our elders and apostles of GMS on down, we've been prophesying and letting you people know that martial law is coming. A time of trouble, a time of evil is coming. Perils, destruction, famine, and pestilence. All these things are outlined in this article, and it's also in the Bible. Okay? So it's coming down to this. Is it prophecy or is it coincidence? What do you believe? You have to pray to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai that he opens up your eyes and gives you the understanding, that he gives you the truth. Is it prophecy or is it a coincidence? Because martial law is coming, and we believe that 100% without a doubt. Why? Because it's in the Bible. Famine is coming, and we believe that 100% without a doubt. Why? Because it's in the Bible. The mark of the beast, which is the microchip, we know for a fact the mark of the beast is a microchip. 100% without a doubt, and that's according to the Spirit. We have faith in that. All right, so let's get right into it. So it says, ICE agent commits suicide in New York City, leaves a suicide note revealing government's plans to round up and disarm Americans. An ICE agent who committed suicide in New York City, saying the same thing, left behind a suicide note that revealed plans for the federal government to round up and disarm American citizens amid economic collapse. And an economic collapse is also prophesied in the Bible. In Lord's will, we're going to get that scripture, or those scriptures on it. After writing a lengthy suicide note exposing terrifying plans the government has for American citizens, a U.S. Customs agent walked onto a pier in New York City and blew his brains out. So he shot himself. Sources inside the New York City Police Department have released to Superstation 95 the contents of a suicide note found on the body, and they are utterly frightening. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to keep jumping around throughout this entire article because it's a very, very, very lengthy article, and all I want to do is jump around to the points in this article that outline this guy's suicide note. It says the note, which says it was written over the course of a full week in advance, so obviously he planned this, outlines why the officer chose to shoot himself. And he says, the America I grew up in and cherished, of course, guarantee he's an Edomite, has been murdered by its own federal government. Our Constitution has become meaningless, and our laws politicized so badly they are no longer enforced except for political purposes, the note said. Our elected officials are, to a person, utterly corrupt and completely devoid of any love or respect for the country which pays them. To them, everything is about getting and keeping power and making illicit money from backroom deals. Exactly. And that's exactly why America is going to be destroyed and utterly obliterated by nuclear missiles. And once again, that's according to the Bible. All right, now let me jump right into it. The 42-year-old U.S. Immigration's custom. No. Blah, blah, blah. The 42-year-old worked as Immigration. By the way, that's what ICE stands for, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Okay, he was a deportation officer. Okay. According to the suicide note, the officer said, "I was hired to enforce the law, to capture and deport people who come to this country against our laws. But now, if I dare to do that, I face being suspended or fired because our president refuses to faithfully execute the duties of his office. Instead, I come to work each day and collect a paycheck twice a month for intentionally doing little to nothing. I cannot and will not be party to this fraud, to this usurpation of the law, or to the despicable politicians betraying our nation." The note continued. Okay, so he's just explaining why he killed himself, basically. Now, listen carefully. We're going to get into this note now. It says the agent worked at a field office in Lower Manhattan, just blocks away from the scene of the shooting. Mentions FEMA camps for Americans. In the suicide note, the officer revealed what he claimed are terrifying plans the feds have been finalizing. Here we go. And it says, quote, "If the American people knew what this government is planning, they would rise up and overthrow it. If I or anyone else in the federal government revealing what is coming, we would be killed anyway. So now I will reveal what I know. We in the federal law enforcement have been drilling for several years to control riots and uprisings from a coming financial collapse and widespread bank failures. The drills involve, check this out, the drills involve life-sized images of American men, even women and children, whom we are told to shoot for practice and to get used to it." Yeah, dwell on that, okay? "We have been told that the economy is terminally ill." This is still a part of the note. "We have been told that the economy is terminally ill and will fail in 2016, which is currently still failing right now." But it goes on to say, "We are also told the banks are all insolvent and the FDIC doesn't have nearly enough funds to bail out depositors. We are told these events are unavoidable and it is imperative that the government survive when people rise up over this. When the collapse takes place," you see this? When the collapse takes place, this economic collapse is unavoidable. It's coming. When the collapse takes place, the note goes on to read, "Detention camps created under the FEMA Rex 84 program in the 1980s to house illegal aliens whom we were going to deport will instead be used to imprison American citizens whom the government feels constitute a quote-unquote threat." You see that? Haven't our elders and apostles of GMS, and of course the men on down, been prophesying and letting you know that martial law is coming and that FEMA camps are coming too? There's no coincidence that these big old Walmarts, these super Walmarts, are getting shut down left and right. Your NFL stadiums, right? Your baseball stadiums, so on and so forth, the basketball stadiums, they're all going to be used as FEMA camps. These big old churches, these mega churches, all of them. Okay? So martial law is coming, detention camps are coming, and what's going to be inside those detention camps? Guillotines. Guillotines for anybody that opposes taking that microchip, which is the so-called New World Order. All right, American citizens will be rounded up without warrants, it says. Okay? American citizens will be rounded up without warrants and imprisoned without trial for God knows how long. These camps have been equipped to carrying out Hitler-scale killings. These camps have been equipped to carry out Hitler-scale killings, an actual purge. This is still a part of his letter. An actual purge of American citizens by the very government which they themselves created and pay for. I cannot be party to this. Those guillotines will be in those FEMA camps. The note goes on to say, to talk about state level National Guard being disarmed and over 1 billion rounds of ammunition purchased by the feds. So the note goes on to say the government knows the military will rise up to stop this. So our military is being deployed overseas intentionally, right? Intentionally involved in foreign fights and deliberately shrunk in size so they cannot be here to help Americans. This is why certain ammunition and weaponry has been removed from state-level National Guard armories, and over 1 billion rounds of hollow point ammunition has been bought by the federal government. And this is also why a man, an Israelite elect man, shall be as in hiding place to the wind. You see, this is the wind that's coming. This is the destruction that's coming. This is the time of trouble that's coming to America. Forget everything else that's going on. Forget New Year's. Forget the Super Bowl. Forget basketball, NBA finals, all that, playoffs coming up, whatever. Forget all of that, right? This is what we should be looking forward to and preparing our spirits for. This is all that matters. Okay, I'm going to jump down a little bit because I want to keep getting the meat out of this article. And Lord's will, this is edifying. I really want to I'm not sure how long this is going to be. However, hey, we're going to roll with the spirit. The article, the letter goes on to read, when the inevitable collapse begins to take place, electric power to the entire country will be shut off, as will all forms of communication. I mean, you got to think about what is coming to America, man. Woo! No communication. No power. No lights. FEMA camps, martial law. Cities being quarantined. It says electric power to the entire country will be shut off, as will all forms of communication. All banks will be immediately closed. No one will be able to get any money because all ATMs will be offline. And then what? The microchip is going to be made mandatory during this time. It's going to be enforced. And all who oppose taking that chip are going to die. Except for the elect men. Okay? And of course the other men, women, and children as well that have been elected by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. At the end of the day, the scriptures say what in the book of Revelation? Because ye have kept the word of my patience, therefore I, meaning the Lord, therefore I shall keep thee from the hour of temptation. That hour of temptation is when the microchip is made mandatory. All right, let's keep reading. It says, anyone without cash will have no way to get any. The emergency alert system will be used to take over all broadcast stations and tell the public this is a result of a cyber attack. Deception. Why? Because the so-called white man is a devil. God damn it. It's pissing me off. Okay. It says, but while the American people patiently await things to get back to normal, the government will unleash roundups of citizens they deem militant or dangerous. Yeah, because the scriptures say what? In the book of 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, there should be a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. And the ones that fear the Lord are going to be the ones that the government deem as militant or dangerous. It goes on to say, with all civilian communications out, and all TV and radio stations taken over by the emergency alert system, by the time word spreads of what is taking place, the government will already have the upper hand. Yeah, they're going to have the upper hand on these people that have no knowledge, on these people that aren't seeking Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai right now, on the upper hand on the people that are in darkness. And that's also why the scriptures say what? Unless you watch, this is going to come onto you as a thief in the night. But that's not going to be the place to the elect men. All right. Let's keep reading. Federal prisoners to be gassed to death. Check this out. The note goes into a wide array of very specific plans and does so in extremely specific detail about what the feds are allegedly planning. For instance, it talks about federal prisons. Check this out. Listen carefully. In the note, it says, quote, every federal prison has been outfitted with lethal gas systems. When things go bad, all prisoners in all prisons will be placed in their cells on lockdown. Prison staff will depart the facility, and a certain designated person will trigger a lethal gas system. All federal prisoners, regardless of their crime or their sentence, will be gassed to death in their cells. Once the gas clears, watch this. Once the gas clears, this is their plan. Once the gas clears, the dead will be removed, and the prisons will then be used to house citizens who fought against the federal onslaught. Meaning what? Even these prisons are going to be used as FEMA camps. Come on, man. It says priests recruited to quell opposition. Check this out. The note makes mention about priests, rabbis, and clerics from various religious denominations having been recruited and trained to quell resistance. What does that word quell mean? To quell resistance. The word quell means to thoroughly overwhelm and reduce to submission or passivity. Oh, okay. So to make the people passive or submissive, then the government has recruited priests, rabbis, and clerics to make the people submissive to their new world order, to their government, to what they have planned. It says, now this is in the letter as well. So intent is the government to succeed. They have recruited priests, rabbis, and clerics from various religions to, quote, appropriate scriptures about obeying government. And it's the same exact tactic that they used during slavery. As it is written, there is nothing new under the sun. Right? They are being trained to tell people not to fight back, and that their best hope is to pray. Okay, now check this out. This may be the last thing that we get into. Okay, it says Executive Order 13608. All right, now watch this. Very, very, very important to understand and know this. The suicide note goes to great lengths about Executive Order 13603, signed by the devil himself, President Obama, who was a Hamite, on March 16th, 2012. The note details Executive Order 13603 about National Defense Resources Preparedness. This 10-page document is a blueprint for a federal takeover of the economy. Specifically, Obama's plans involves seizing control of all commodities and products that are capable of being ingested by either human beings or animals, seizing control of all forms of energy, seizing control of all forms of civil transportation, seizing control of all usable water from all sources. A famine is coming, seizing control of health resources, drugs, biological products, medical devices, materials, facilities, health supplies, services, and equipment. This is outlining this Executive Order 13603. This wasn't put in place for your benefit. Okay, let's keep reading. Let's skip over a little bit. It says, Superstation 95 took a look at this executive order from the government printing office website, and sure enough, everything contained in the officer's suicide note about this executive order is true. So it's a fact. He's not lying about this note. Okay? Jumping down right here, it says, but more than previous national security executive orders, Obama's 13603 seems to describe a potentially totalitarian regime obsessed with control over everything. Obama's executive order makes no effort to justify the destruction of liberty, no effort to explain how amassing totalitarian control would enable government to deal effectively with cyber sabotage, suicide bombings, chemical warfare, nuclear missiles, or other possible threats. There's nothing in Executive Order 13603 about upholding the Constitution or protecting civil liberties, because they don't care. They're not worried about that. All they are worried about, when I say they, I'm talking about the elites of the so-called, or of the Edomites, so-called white people today. All they care about is manifesting their new world order, which is to put a microchip into the entire world. Okay. Database of preppers. We in federal law enforcement. Let me just skim this. Akim Salakia. We in federal law enforcement have also been told that the government has a full database of so-called preppers. Those people. Oh wow. Hold on. Let me see. Okay, why not? Why not? Why not? The suicide note touches on the subject of preppers. So in the note it says, quote, "We in federal law enforcement have also been told that the government has a full database of all so-called preppers. Those people will be dealt with first by armed federal agents coming to take their guns, then their food stocks." Dang. So food can be redistributed as the government sees fit. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. If the dead officer claims about unavoidable economic... Okay. If the dead officer's claims about an unavoidable economic blah, blah, blah. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Sourcing. All right. And that's probably just about it. We just as no aspect of our stories above. Let me just make sure. Get out all the meat. Okay. Babylon, New York. All right. But hey, if Akim want to check this out again, it's on reportingthetruth.com, and it's entitled "ICE Agent Commits Suicide in New York City. Leaves a Suicide Note Revealing Government's Plans to Round Up and Disarm Americans." Now, Salakia, I know I went a long time without getting any scriptures, so Salakia about that, but I wanted to make sure we get out everything, because I really want I really want everybody out there to really consider. The scriptures say what? To examine yourself whether ye be in the faith. Now, with that being said, you have to consider, is this just a coincidence or is it prophecy? And you should be saying the latter. It's prophecy. Okay? 2nd Ezra 15, starting at verse 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." Woe means destruction. It's synonymous with death or destruction. Verse 15 says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men." And what's the modern day sword? It's a gun. "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes." The modern day kings and princes is what? The government, the Senate, right? Your police, the president, right? "And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able." What is that called? That's called a city being quarantined, when it's sectioned off. And when is something quarantined? During martial law. Verse 18, "For because of their pride the city shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." Why are men going to be destroyed? Because according to that letter that was put out by that ICE agent, martial law is coming. And we're reading about it right now. Economic collapse is coming, and a famine is coming. That's why men shall be afraid. Because they're not going to have the means to protect their daughters, to protect their children, the son, to protect their wife, unless you're a man of the Lord. It says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods," meaning they're going to be stealing and robbing their neighbors. "Because of the lack of bread, there's going to be a famine, and for great tribulation." That's because Esau is going to come down having great wrath. Okay? So this is the martial law that's coming. All right? Now let me see if I can get a scripture on. As a matter of fact, let's jump here. I already have it up. Isaiah 24, starting at verse 7. It says, "The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth. All the merry-hearted do sigh." All these people out here that just celebrated this New Year's coming in, that celebrated Christmas and Thanksgiving, they're known as what? The merry-hearted. And why are they going to sigh? Because economic collapse is coming. Martial law is coming. Famine is coming. Guillotines are going to be inside these FEMA camps. Okay? The mirth of tabrets ceaseth. The noise of them that rejoiceth endeth. The joy of the harp ceaseth. Which is what? A metaphor representing all the joy and mirth ending out of this place. Out of America, out of Babylon, out of the entire world. Verse 9 says, they shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. The city of confusion, which is America, is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. Why? Because martial law is coming. And yes, I'm going to be repetitive. Verse 11 says, there was a crying for wine in the streets. Now, what is this talking about? This is talking about knowledge. That wine is synonymous with philosophy or doctrine or wisdom, you can also say. There's going to be a crying or a searching for wine in the streets because of everything that's going on. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. In the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. Okay, let's get some basic scriptures here. Jeremiah 30 verse 7 says what? Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Who is he? That's talking about an elect man doing the work of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. And during that time, the scriptures say what? Isaiah chapter 4 verse 1. No. I don't want that. I mean, I can read it, but I want to stick to what's really on my mind through the Spirit right now. Isaiah 32. Right? This is what I'm thinking of. Here we go. Isaiah 32 verse 2. And a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind. What's the wind? This economic collapse that's coming. This woe. This destruction. And a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. So an elect man is going to be sought after in these times. That's the only way. That's the only way that anybody is going to be protected. First and foremost, by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai. Okay. Now we're going to get this. Once again, we'll stick with some basics here. That's all that matters. Revelation 12 verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil, who is the devil? The so-called white man, Esau, Edom. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. You see, Esau understands biblical prophecy. Esau understands biblical prophecy. The main thing, or let me word it this way. The difference between us, the men of the Lord, understanding biblical prophecy, and Esau, Edom, the wicked, is the fact that Esau, the so-called white man, believes he can upset prophecy. That's the main difference. He thinks that everything he reads, okay, he's not dumb. He knows that the microchip is the mark of the beast. He just truly believes that he's going to be able to chip the entire world, and that Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai isn't going to upset what he has, what his plans are. He truly believes that he's going to fulfill his birthright. Okay? But the scriptures say what? Let's go to the book of Cobb. Job 5 verse 12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. And what is the enterprise of the so-called white man? It's his new world order, to chip everybody, to be like God. He wants to be the Most High, to be in control of everybody, to control life and death, to know where everybody is and have a head count, to see everything and to be everywhere. Esau, Edom is trying to be omnipotent. Okay? But the Lord said he's going to disappoint the devices of the crafty. And Esau, Edom is the crafty. Okay, so with that being said, I just wanted to bring this out to, hey, it's all about prophecy. Martial law is coming. Economic collapse is coming. All communications will be shut off. There will be a blackout. There's going to be no more power. And it's going to be nationwide. All these things are prophesied in the Bible. Famine is coming. And you saw it. That article, the ICE agent wrote about everything that's in the Bible. So ask yourself, okay, ask yourself, was it a coincidence or is it prophecy? Okay, so call halal Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem HaKakodash, and double honors to our elders and apostles of great millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the elect. Shalom.